Good morning, everybody. Good morning, and a happy Saturday morning to you. It's 11 o'clock, and welcome to time for Elevensies, the late morning show with Lisa and Anton. And I'm Anton.
That makes me Lisa.
Well, there you go. Brilliant, brilliant. Well, look, Peeps is already joining us. Look at that.
Well, I think that Elevensies on Saturday morning is kind of cool because it's like grown-ups used to get when they were little. When
Cartoons.
You were little and you got your cereal and watched your cartoons or Wonderama or whatever. So, yeah. Well, that was, you wouldn't know about that. Anyway, but not very many people were able to just tune in at 11 on Monday mornings, but Saturday mornings, maybe they're just having their coffee and they're looking for something odd.
Indeed, indeed. So welcome. If you're joining us on the Tube of You, say hello. And say hello, because we should be on both platforms
Yes,
today.
I can see us on the Book of Face.
There we go.
So we're all good.
Marvellous. I can tell by numbers we see on the magical screen in front of us that there are indeed peeps. So yes, it's an interactive show, so please feel free to interact, as the saying goes. All right, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, it is the Libra full moon.
Isn't it?
We got some really good stuff going on. So Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is in Pisces. Neptune and Jupiter are in Pisces. There's a lot of really good astrological, magical stuff to be calling upon for your full moon magic. So it's a great time for letting go of old and bringing in new and finding balance and inspiring and getting creativity things going, and it's all kinds of good stuff. And I had a fantastic day yesterday. It's kind of like I got my life back a little bit yesterday.
Oh, it was fun.
I have a person who had been Reiki level 2 for a very, very long time, who had been waiting for masters, and she called and said, when are you guys going to teach Reiki again? And I said, well, the pandemic kind of makes it hard because you have to have a group of people in a small space, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I would be willing to work one-on-one with you. I'm vaccinated and she's vaccinated, and she could keep her mask on and I could keep my mask on except for when I was attuning. So I yesterday got to do a Reiki Masters attunement, which was wonderful because we've been teaching Reiki since 1997, and we usually teach 2 or 3 16-week courses over a year, and we've mastered over 700 people. And the pandemic, hi Nessa, the pandemic is the first time that we haven't been able to teach Reiki. This is a long time, 2.5 years,
Long time.
So I got to do Reiki Masters attunement yesterday. It was wonderful. So thank you, Sarah, for that. And then it was such nice weather that we were able to be outside in person for Circle. So I think we had about maybe 15 people in person.
We did.
And
Plus
then I think we had like 5 or 6 Zoomers. So we had a really wonderful time. You could tell that the space was just so happy to have us back, and we did some enchanting, and it was really wonderful. So yesterday was a great day.
I still got soil on my computer. Don't ask how that happened.
Oh, we don't know what happened, but the computer just slid off the thing.
Fortunately, the ground was nice and soft.
I can't see who you have. Miranda
Oh,
and
Miranda
Wendy.
and Wendy,
hello.
hello. Well, they're saying hello. We may have more than that, but
We
they're
may
saying
have
hello.
more than that, but they're saying hello, and hello to them. So,
Thank you for joining us.
we are in the Willow lunation.
Yes.
And Willow is associated with Caridwen. And last night we looked at her story from a little bit different perspective.
We did, didn't we?
So we thought today we would share that with you because it's always fun to think about. So I'll give like a little preamble about what to focus on. And then Anton will be our bard for today.
Uh-oh.
Right? So...
Tough act to follow.
And then I will talk a little bit more after that. So we know that the story has 7 characters, and you could think that they represent the chakras or the planets or whatever you want to think about that 7. We're talking about the story of Caridwen and Taliesin today. All right. So when we first hear the story, we always connect to Caridwen. And we think about her And most of the time, when we first come upon the story, it's because we've been searching for information on Caradwen anyway. So when we hear the story of Caradwen and Taliesin, we think about Caradwen and her efforts and all the things that she's doing and why she's doing them. And you know, as the story plays out, we kind of get in that role of sympathizing or being part of Caradwen's part of the story. But when you hear the story today, even if it's the first time you've heard it, I'd like you to think about being Gwion Bach / Taliesin. So, what does he know and how does he feel? And why is he doing what he's doing? And then we'll talk about the dynamic after the story.
All right. You want me to give it a go?
Sure.
So, oh, excuse me. I am so sorry. Let me just have a quick slurp here. It doesn't help to get all clarty just before you tell a story, really. Shouldn't have had poached eggs for breakfast. Anyway, moving on. Gosh, yes, beautiful, beautiful story. This. So we'll take you up to the point where it happens. I'll just run through that very briefly. So the idea was that Caradwen would produce this brew for her son to instill with him because he wasn't the most handsome of fellows. In fact, he earned the moniker Avagthi, Morvan Avagthi, which is utter darkness because his countenance was not fair at all. Slightly hairy chappy. But his mother, being mothers what they are, obviously wanted the very best for him and thought, well, if I could instill within him the ON, the knowledge of all that was, all that is right now, and all that ever will be, surely he will be able to hold his position in court and all that fun stuff. But this necessitated making a very special brew that had to be brewed over the course of a year and a day, and it required her to constantly gather and add herbs, so she couldn't do everything herself. So she engaged a couple of people, one guy, an old blind guy, Morda, I forgot that, to tend the fire, and a young lad from Lanvacaranian by the name of Gwion Bach. And Gwion Bach was there to stir the cauldron. That was his job, his purpose. And so he's there stirring away the cauldron, and it's just getting to the point where the brew is almost ready, when all of a sudden there's like a bubbling comes up within it. And just as Caradwen's back's turned, these 3 drops come flying up in the air and land squarely on Gwion's thumb, and instinctively he places his thumb into his mouth, so he's not scalded. And that very instant, he is imbued with the ON. He instantaneously knows all that ever was, all that is, and all that shall be, and he also instantaneously realizes this was not supposed to happen, and Caradwen is very, very, very upset. He knows he must flee. He knows he must flee for his life. And so, as his young legs can't carry him quick enough, he transforms into a hare and sets off through the long grass, and feeling the grass whipping at his face as he's belting through there, and his little heart is pounding away. But Caradwen has transformed into a greyhound bitch, and she gains on him, and with each bound can feel the hot heated breath of the greyhound behind him, and snap as the jaws go but catch nothing but air. He leaps to get out of the way, and as he leaps he transforms into this graceful, beautiful salmon and plunges deep into the river. Not to be outdone with that, Caradwen transforms into an otter bitch and slips gracefully into the water, and she can move effortlessly. Even though he's a big, powerful salmon that can leap weirs, she has this gorgeous, sleek otter that flies through the water like a guided missile, honing in on him, getting closer with those razor-sharp teeth, about to take a big chunk out of him and rip him limb from limb, when he breaks the surface of the water to escape and transforms into a tiny wren and takes flight, flying higher and dodging up effortlessly through the clouds. But lo and behold, Ceridwen too breaks the surface of the water and transforms into a hawk. And the hawk tracks down that wren. And just as it banks and swoops and tries to avoid, she really hones in on him, and the talons are out, and she's just about to land and rip him limb from limb when he finds himself falling and transforms into a grain, a single grain of wheat that floats gracefully down into a pile of grain. Surely he's safe here. But oh no, Ceridwen has transformed into the black-crested hen and proceeds methodically to gobble up every single grain. But this is not the end of Gwion Bach. For when she takes on the grain, she also takes on the seed of Taliesin, and she herself becomes pregnant. And she now knows, because she has consumed the Owen herself, she knows that he must be born, and that he must now be the rightful custodian of the Owen. And yet, she vows, still she's so angry that when he's born, she should dash him upon the rocks or something. But when he's born and he sees that connection in the eyes, that wondrousness, she can do nothing but wrap him up ever so carefully and place him in this coracle and set him adrift. And it could be years, could be weeks, 40 days, 40 nights, interesting period, 40 weeks, gestational period. He arrives at a weir, and the weir,
salmon weir.
The salmon weir,
isn't it? His name.
Yeah, and he comes along to collect the salmon at this time of the year when they're spawning, and instead of getting a cart full of salmon, he turns out this little coracle with a leather bag, and it's, what is this? What is this? But he starts singing his praises, and thus Taliesin is there, the radiant brow. I've cut that very short, but there you go.
Yes. All right.
Very short version.
Interesting story, because if you look at a book called Cauldron Born, it goes into the depth of the characters, like, why is a blind guy tending the fire? Well, you might want to think about the hermit card when you look at the blind guy tending the fire.
He too holds a light, does he not?
And he can't see either. So, but again, if we think about this story from the different points of view, right? So Ceridwen is this goddess, mother, and witch, and she has magically made this brew, the brew that will imbibe the taker with awen, with enlightenment, right? So she is responsible for that magic. Now, she sees Gwion Bach as a terrible thief. He stole awen. He stole that enlightenment. So she feels, understanding at this point, she does not possess awen, that she must contain that knowledge, because she knows now that Gwion has awen. He has the knowledge of all that was, all that is, and all that ever shall be. But because the transformation is instantaneous, we might think, well, he's going on instinct and trying to assimilate what's just happened. And his instinct and this knowledge, the knowledge tells him she's after you, but he maybe doesn't know how to quite download all of the information yet. So he knows she's after me, I have to flee. And when we look at the story, it's elemental, right? There's a chase on the earth. There's a chase in the water. There's a chase in the sky. And we could look at the gestation as like a shamanic, fiery kind of transformation or shape-shifting. So last night, Linda asked us to think about the different energies, right? To think about the hare, the greyhound, the salmon, the otter, the wren, the hawk, the grain, or the chicken, and see which of those animals we identified with while hearing the story. And it was very fascinating because I felt very connected to the seed, to that little grain that got eaten. But it's probably because we have so many things in our lives right now in the seed stage. You know,
we do.
All these things have been planted, right? And Taliesin goes on to be this amazing bard, right? And Caradwen now is mother of all the bards. And Caradwen possesses Awen because she ingested the seed. So it's very fascinating, really.
I love what is said about Caradwen, which is, when the chairs come to be judged, mine shall be the finest of them all, for I am the most knowledgeable one in the court of Dawn. She knows her onions.
So there's a lot of digging you could do into that story, and you could read further, certainly about Taliesin, the Radiant Brow, or you could, look up a lot more things about Caradwen. And in the fall, we will have Christopher Hughes,
Yes!
the Chief Druid of Anglesey, Wales, is coming in late September. And I think it's the first Saturday in October he's going to do an all-day class a day for Caradwen. So it'll be really wonderful. And you can sign up for that if you'd like.
Absolutely.
So, we would take any questions, but it doesn't, not free psychic
No,
readings.
no, we're not.
Not free psychic readings, but if you had a question about the story
What
or
does such
something
and
you
such
wanted.
think of me? Miranda wants to know, are we open to what? That's a fair question.
Yes, we are. Easter Sunday has
absolutely.
nothing to do with us. We had our Easter on the spring equinox, so we're open tomorrow from 12 to 6.
Have you ever thought about what bunnies and eggs have got to do with the resurrection of Christ anyway?
Yeah, no. So yes, we'll be there. We're going to try to fix the tarot room tomorrow because we got so many books and tarot decks in that we have to figure something out.
I don't know if you guys were it's on both here
The box
and
openings,
yeah, we did. Goodness, we like over an hour and a half of box openings or whatever, isn't it?
Last
And then
week or so.
Yeah, no, and more besides, because we had
Tuesday
a whole,
and yesterday.
and
we did box
yesterday, yeah,
openings,
you get to look at my scary countenance, and we've got finally they teased it at first. We thought, is this the way the order's going to come? Because we placed a sizable order.
a big order, and we got like one book.
2 books.
And then a couple days later, we got like one book. And then it was like a week, and we got one book. And then we got one box, and it said box 2 of 6. And we thought, this is going to be fun to try to keep track of. But yesterday, the other 5 boxes came. Plus, we got in some skindoos and Scottish dirks and a really cool wolf cane that has a sword inside. You screw the head off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sword stick.
And some scourges for initiations. Oh, God, everything is itching.
You're allergic to everything, aren't you?
Yes, I
probably,
think I'm
probably allergic to me.
I'm allergic to morning, I think.
Well, the morning's nearly done, fortunately. Right. I mean, it's 11:19.
Yeah.
We're in at the store today. So yeah, we're gonna. I'm very excited. Just love it. It felt so good to be there yesterday. We got people come from all over the place. There was like a bunch of people came specifically, I think, from Connecticut all the way to see us. So it's kind of, we love that when people make a pilgrimage specifically to come and see our little store, our little patch of magicalness.
It takes a while to look around, though, and I think they hadn't really planned.
A little bit overload, I think. Yeah, they were like,
planned that they were going to need a little more time. But
I could lose several hours and a lot of money in here. You could though. You could, seriously. I mean, I love it when people come in with a bit of a list, and they go, "Oh, I need a such and such." Yes. And well, I also need a such and such. Yes.
And I have these list of crystals I've been looking for.
Yeah, we got them
We've
all.
got those. And they go, now I don't know about my budget. But that's
Don't worry,
fine.
it's only money.
But it gives you a good reason to come back, because you want to just be in there.
Exactly.
And we got a huge bunch of incense in this, some beautiful monsoon
I-
moon or something. I really like that.
Monsoon Magic. I think that's one of the ones that came in. I've got to kudos to Lisa because I'm sure lots of people will tell you there's all manner of supply chain issues still persisting right now.
Being a buyer has not been fun.
No. So we apologise that our languages on the incense are anything but English. So, I mean, we've got them labelled in all manner of ways.
Italian.
Italian. I think even Russian or whatever. The Cyrillic alphabet on some of them. So she, in fairness, has tracked down whatever she can, wherever she can, because we do sell an awful lot of incense.
Oh, we've got some beautiful stuff.
We've people say, do you sell incense? We have like an
cubby,
entire
little incense cubby.
Yeah.
But I think we have 30 flavors anyway.
Oh, and the rest probably.
Well, yeah, because that one style has 11.
Mm-hmm. Probably about 100 different kinds of incense.
No,
I wager.
No, you exaggerate.
I wager. I could go on and look, but I bet you.
He exaggerates all the time.
For the millionth time, I do not exaggerate.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So
Miranda says she loves the wolf cane. Well, if
There's
you love
only
it
one
that
left.
much, there's only one left, Miranda.
So call the shop after 12 and put it on hold.
That's it. Oh dear.
funny.
Yeah.
All right.
Gilda wants. Okay, well, you guys are going to have to fight. I don't know if we can get more. Whatever. First person to call us gets it. That's it.
There you go.
It's cool. It's
It's
cool
going to
bit
be
of
a
kit,
bitch
yeah.
to ship, Gilda.
It's not that bad. We actually have some. We have some tubes. I have some.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, I have some of those big tubes where we had to send wands and stuff. Remember? So
What did she say, Miranda, after that?
love the pressed flower incense. It is. Yes.
Oh, did you get some?
That is-
Because it's beautiful.
This handmade paper, the box is made of handmade paper, and it's not a picture on there, it's actually pressed flowers.
Yeah.
They're like wild, so the thing is
that's-
just really collectible in its own right.
Right, but they took their time to make that. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I've been really lucky to source some really good things. So, and tarot decks I found ones that we had not had in years that have either switched publishers or like the Sacred Tribe, is it, or whatever?
I got so many, I love them. Yep. Keep the boxes. They're a little keepsake.
packages, yeah.
The packages with the pressed flowers. You don't see that done now.
No, not.
That was one of the things that mums would teach their young daughters and stuff like that. Well, their sons, why not?
Yeah. Well, my
how
mom, we used
to
to press
flowers.
leaves in wax paper.
You had me do that. When, like, on my first trip over here, you took me up for a.
It was in the fall.
It was in the fall. Well, it might have been, yeah, because it was. When did I? It was
don't know.
December 15th. It couldn't have been. There was snow.
That was the
first time.
second year.
Must have been, yeah. It was.
And we went and got
yeah.
leaves and pressed them and made
They
them
were
into little
beautiful.
place markers. Yeah.
It's so wonderful. I mean, I had the advantage. I mean, and this is something we talk about this, and it's funny when we teach our Craft of the Wise class. We take language for granted.
Hi, Karen.
Because we're raised with that language, and it's a word to us. We don't really step back and look at what that word means. And as Lisa and I have been studying things necessarily and having to dig into other languages, it's really amazing to have that kind of discovery of the root of the word and how it's connected, and it really spawns so many good thoughts. And I had the privilege of being, I was fully capable, fully cognizant of being able to have this amazing first experience of this beautiful area in which we now live, because I'd never been to the States before.
And seeing the leaves until you see them in person.
You can't take a picture of them. It doesn't come out the same way. Even with the fancy new high dynamic range and all that, yeah, you can make it look good, but it does not. It lacks that texture and depth of field. Your eyes are much better than a camera. They really are. Even though our eyes was.
She's saying it's her mom and her used to press the flowers.
Oh, well, that's lovely. That
All
is
right.
lovely.
So we're going to do card of the week, but we're doing it in a new format so that everybody can kind of come back to it if you want to. All right. So you can think of your question, or you can think about what's happening with you this coming week. And then you're going to pick a number 1, number 2, or number 3. And the information that we give for that numbered card is going to be the information that is available to you to either answer your question or give you some insight into the week. So first, pause for a moment and think about, tomorrow might be a Muggle holiday that you're going to be with family, and you might need some inspiration to deal with that. You might know what's coming up for your week ahead, or how you'd like to cope with or plan or be inspired for whatever's coming up. And just take a moment and think about that. You should think too, because you've got a lot going on.
Oh, I do. I'm supposed to be answering questions, not thinking of them, I don't know.
And then just decide if you want number 1, number 2, or number 3.
That's number 1. I guess this will be number 2.
Number 3.
All right then.
All right, so what you could do is listen now, and then later on, if you wanted an answer again to something different, you could pick a number, and you could pick one randomly, like writing 1, 2, and 3 on a piece of paper and then picking it out and then listening to the card later on. So you could use this over and over again. But for those people who chose card number 1, card number 1 is the 4 of Swords. This is allow yourself some space. You can see that he's not dead, he's meditating, right? So allow yourself some space and some time to achieve enlightenment. Swords are challenges, so even though things may be a little bit challenging, if you take that step back and you take that deep breath and you let yourself rest a little bit so you have time to think, things will come to light that will inspire you. You're doing number 2?
If you want me to, unless you want
to
do
all 3 last time, but go ahead.
You can do all 3.
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Well,
remember, it's a reading and not Tarot Talk Tuesday.
I know this. So if you chose number 2, you've got the 3 of Wands. And this is actually a very fortuitous and very positive card. It is about your ships come sailing in, but it is also about necessity to gain a clearer perspective, to step back a little bit and allow yourself the full picture, attain higher ground, be it morally, spiritually, or perhaps even physically. Climbing a hill, sometimes getting out, actually getting the good exercise is really good for the head and can trivialize some of the problems that may have been weighing down on you. So change your perspective, extricate yourself a little further away from the issue that you're probably too close to, and you will see it all coming together. So this is a very positive card for you.
All right. And card number 3 is the 4 of Coins. And to me, this is a card of making an investment. So something that you're working on or doing this week or tomorrow could seem like it doesn't immediately pay off, but it will. This is about making an investment, taking the initiative, using your inspiration and laying down a foundation. And when you do that, it will pay out. You'll have a stronger footing. You'll have resources for right now and resources for the future. So remember that whatever you put your energy into is where the energy goes, right? So if you wake up and you think, I can't decide if I feel well or not today. If you pick well, you'll feel better. If you pick terrible, you'll probably go back to bed. So if you chose card number 3, it's kind of being put back to you to say, what is it that you're going to invest in? Where are you going to put your time, effort, and energy? That's where it's going to pay out. All right? So that's
There you go.
That's us for this morning. We're off to work, believe it or not.
If you haven't mashed that like button yet, would you be so kind as to do that? Because that helps us. It helps us a great deal.
Like, comment, and subscribe over there
indeed,
on YouTube.
Indeed. And yeah. So yeah, do please. I love this new format actually. So you can ponder and you can always go back and if you need a quick answer, you've got choose a number 1 to 3 and see what that says. How it applies to your own particular situation. So it's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So yeah, thank you. We're gonna cut it sort of short today. I mean, we
do about a half hour.
Yeah. I mean, because we actually do have to. We
go
don't
work.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it. It's not I have to. It's I get to. I get to.
Right, but we have to be on time.
There is that small point, yes. And I've got to leg it to the post office real quick before they shut at 12 because we've got orders going out, so I have to take those. So thank you everybody so much for watching us. We do appreciate it greatly. Lots of people are joining us now. Now we're done. You're going to have to go back and watch it. You're just going to have to go back and watch it, all right? So, but do please mash that thumbs up button. We appreciate it greatly, and hit that bell icon even when you subscribe to us, and that way you'll get notified when Lisa and I go online because
we'll be your Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes. Hey, we're better than cartoons. We're comical. Just don't be advocating dropping an anvil on my head. I don't want any of that.
No Acme.
No,
yes.
Acme Anvil Company or whatever it is.
All right. So hopefully we'll see some of you guys later at the shop. We're open 12 to 6 today, and yes, we are open tomorrow 12 to 6.
We'd love to see you. Come on by. All right.
Peace.
So we will go forth come fifths and win a cup. And thank you so